Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and I am here. I know it's been a while. I'll explain, eventually what was going on. But anyways, I have since I last was on, we've had Arc 2, we've had huge Genesis delays, real shocker. But anyways, before we even get started into that, I wanted to bring up, I called it. I know I haven't been on in a while, but I called it, that Arc 2 is coming out in the next year or two. Now, I say next year or two because I honestly think they're going to try and push it as fast as possible because they're basically, let's be honest, as soon as Genesis 2 comes out, they're done with Arc, the original, and they're going to move on to the Arc 2 because that's where their money lies. That's what they're going to get. Now, I have the trailer pulled up here. I'm not going to, sit here and show you everything. I just want to, I'm going to put the volume nice and low. I want to show you a few things where I'm like, yep, this is going to be interesting. So basically, I know it's been a little while, but look at the graphics right off the bat. They are substantially different than anything Arc has to offer. So yeah, that's a big change. For those of you that don't know, the Arc, I guess the thing that runs Arc is nowhere near capable of producing this kind of graphics. So they had to totally rewrite the system, or if they didn't, they probably just it's going to be beautiful. It's totally different than we have seen in the past. Another thing that right off the bat you see, you've got obviously Vin Diesel, who's amazing. That's, Vin Diesel's awesome. First off, I didn't know he liked video games / Arc alone. Super dope stuff. Now, that being said, right off the bat, you see a family. That's not Arc for you. So there might be some sort of storyline or story-driven Arc mode with different types of stuff. That's what I'm hoping for. You can see very classic, scene in Arc. You've got the waterfall. You've got some sort of, ancient prehistoric growth all over the place. You can even see some of the plant, literally just like it looks in Arc 1. The plant life looks just like it, but much more advanced graphics. Just looks cool. It looks really neat. So you got the family kind of clan system. So there's going to be some sort of multiplayer in that regard. But where it gets really different, and I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. Yeah, you can see them here. There's little funky looking dudes all over the place. Let's see if I can slow down so you can see. So this is very similar to almost every style RPG MMO that's coming out right now, where you've got this clan-based system. Very similar to how NPCs exist in a lot of the mods in Arc. These guys, I have a feeling, are going to function like NPCs, where they're super high level and they exist in the wild just to taunt and torment you. I don't know. This is my initial things. I'm sure some people are like, oh, I read this at Wildcard and I know this is what it's going to be. No one knows yet. Let's be honest. They might have announced some things, but they change things all the time. I think NPCs included into Arc is going to be super cool. And maybe this just represents I could be totally off. Maybe this just represents you can go with different species or different kind of character creations, which is pretty cool as well. That's something that I'm super stoked about because, in Arc in the past, it's been one huge male or one tiny female are pretty much the only character models. And if they add some new ones in there, that'll be pretty neat. Especially when you notice it, there's a different fighting scheme going on. Now, I don't know if they're going to include that, but you can see he's got uppercuts. You got all this kinds of movement. Now, this could just be the video being super cool looking, but I have a feeling they're going to do a little bit of advancement in regards to the actual fighting system, because right now Arc is literally just a game where you kind of mash out as quick as you can to end game and use guns and this if you think about it, it does not make sense that you can just create this technology and these highly technical things in Arc. It was meant to be originally, I don't know if anyone of you played when it first came out, but Arc was literally meant as a game where you could just run around with spears and sticks and it was scary to run into a T-Rex. Now it's just oh, it's no big deal. I'll just use my small revolver to take down a T-Rex. Yeah, okay, because that makes sense. Now, I'm hoping that this kind of fear gets reintroduced because you can see this T-Rex just shows up into the screen right here. And I just hope that they actually include the fear again because this thing shows up and they all freak out. Notice how it's a different model entirely. Maybe it's not a T-Rex, but I have a feeling it is. I'm just hoping that there's a little bit of fear in the game because it just doesn't exist anymore. You just advance so quickly past all of the how do I say this properly? All of the early game just doesn't exist. When it first came out, yeah, it did exist, but not anymore. Now, the kids system, I have a question whether or not there's going to be children in Arc, and maybe there is because it's going to kind of increase the playability for people as well. Maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, scheme in which they plan to include with that, I don't know for sure. But I really hope they have something like that, because you can definitely see this is video game-esque. And there's probably a lot of these characteristics that are going to be controlled and moved over to the new Arc 2. And I just hope that there is. And you can see the character models, super cool. Yeah, and then you've obviously got the hatchet that we all know and love, the spear we all know and love. I don't know, Arc 2 looks so cool in my opinion, it's not even funny. You can see, like, I'm sure you guys, just like me, watched this a million times when it first came out, and kudos to Arc and Wildcard for actually making a really awesome trailer. Whether or not some of this stuff gets involved, it's super cool looking. And again, you can see, yeah, good luck with your spears and hatchets against this T-Rex, because you're not going to survive past that. Kind of a little bit of funniness there. But really, it really gets interesting at this, because you can see we go into outer space in the last couple Genesis things, and we start to realize it's a simulation. But he logs back into this system, and he's like, almost knows what's going on. So it's like he would rather be on the planet than actually, how do I say this properly, up in space or with this advanced technology. Because you know it's there. He logs into the system and it recognizes him. He kind of just walks over and he's like, here we go again. Which, I don't know, I'm excited about, because maybe it means there's some sort of better base concept. One thing I'd love for them to change is right now bases just are terrible because you just raid no matter what. And then let's go back up and just show you this. So you can see, oh, there we go. Cloning access restricted. You can see there's some sort of clone. So maybe this guy's the original. The engram incomplete. You can see that there's something with that DNA sequencing, all kinds of different stuff. You can see, read these little, like, I guess if you want to call them little tidbits of information. You can see Sao Paulo municipality, the Terran Federation. That's kind of interesting. That's maybe a throwback to StarCraft. I don't know. And then he's got specialties: engineering, strategy, creativity. I'm wondering if that's just more of meant to kind of take away the concept of mind wipe, so you in a clan truly have an engineer, a warrior, and sorts of things like that. And then there's also the what they're fluent in. I doubt that's going to have some sort of play into it, but I mean, there's lots of speculation. There's going to be huge advancements, and I do get excited about that. But maybe they include some more interesting concepts where it's like you're not only just fighting the Ark, but you're fighting what's going on around you. And this just looks so cool. Look at these new character models. Oh my goodness. When I saw this for the first time, I got so excited, totally rewriting character models. You can see Bronto, Breakies, whatever those happen to be in the distance. The concept of floating islands, all of this like funky stuff, kind of giant waterfalls. This is what we like. This is what I love about Ark, at least. Just huge updates like this, because I know it's Arc 2 and it's not going to come out for another year. But you can look forward to it because it looks like it's fun to play on. There's lots of different things, some crazy new stuff, crazy flyers, sweet models. I don't know. It just makes me excited to want to play the game. And you look down and you're like, whoa, this is like when Arc first came out, that like those little goosebumps you got when you like ran out and you were so excited because you knocked out a Pteranodon. I'm hoping that Arc 2 brings that back a little bit. We'll see. I mean, I put it at 50-50. I think it's going to be more RPG-esque. But again, I don't know for sure. I want to say that I think it's going to, but, you know, there are worse things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you another thing as well. So you can see there's a ton of people commenting about this. There's been a ton of updates since I last came back and posted a video. Don't worry, I'll be back a little bit more frequently now. I'm going to be probably posting like on weekends and stuff, but I kind of wanted to bring up all these changes because you can see since I last posted, they've had some huge updates. Not just huge, but like things that they're trying to genuinely fix, like new dinos. In the most recent patch that came out on Friday, I get pretty excited about this kind of stuff. They're aware of the problems. They really are. They're trying to fix them. It takes time, though. Corrupted dino kiting. That has been happening since Extinction first came out. And people on these PvE servers would just corrupt, like they would spawn in using the OSDs, and they'd bring corrupted dinosaurs to people's bases to just totally destroy them, which is just so frustrating. Now on PvE or PvP, I see that as legitimate. PvE, that's not the point. The point is to have fun and build. You can see that the small tribes teaming rules, they're trying to figure out how to fix this. I think it's going to take some time because this is all like speculation on whether or not they can actually fix it, but oh well. And then this is where I'm super excited. I've got a little bit of a theory here. So they're doing new sponsored mods. I have a feeling in Arc 2, they're releasing it next year so they can include some of these new mod concepts like Structures Plus, new maps, new hairstyles. This one, if they don't include something like this, I'll be blown away because the character models are going to be totally rewritten for Arc 2 in my opinion. And then the character, just in general, the NPCs that exist in the game, they're going to expand so much on them, and I really hope it becomes this game that it has the capability of becoming. I mean, it's just going to be super cool. But that being said, it's Ark, so it could be anything. But they've released a whole bunch of stuff for Genesis 2. I know they pushed it back. I'm excited for it. It's supposed to come out a little bit later. I'm not going to say. My feeling is it's not going to come out until like the school year ends for most students in July, June-ish timeframe. I would bet early June is my guess for when it actually comes out for Genesis 2. But, they have it released in May, so I've been wrong before. Not often, but sometimes. But that being said, all kinds of stuff. You can see this. They've got cool events, everything that's just been happening. And such a really cool setup, I think, is the coolest way. I mean, I get super excited when I see things like Void Wyverns. That's cool. Like adding new Wyverns in is cool. I really like this. You can see the final DC May 26th. I still think it's not coming out till June, July. That's my personal opinion. They're releasing all these concepts of these creatures and new techs. I don't know. I'm excited. It's gonna be a cool year for Ark because I think they're gonna release this and probably one or two more DLC maps that are not pay for. They're like sponsored mods, if you want to call them that, like they did with all the other maps that they've had, which are, in my opinion, are better than the ones that are released by them. Because the ones that are released by them, they totally restructure the game. Like Extinction, in my opinion, ruined Ark. It wasn't until like Crystal Isles that I really started enjoying some of the stuff again. So again, we're talking personal opinions, so take that for what you will. But Arc 2 is on the horizon, and I'm excited. And again, guys, I hope you enjoy this. I'll be back a little bit more. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys more. All right, teach. Ow.